So the detail that we are progressing from the previous batch, as you might have seen, it is not only just a revision of what we have learned. At least this is what I am also finding, and I would like to probably know from you as well. Because this time I'm also going more into analyzing the Bhashyam, that I go for every line, every word, and not just only the literal meaning of the shloka, but even within the Bhashyam, that lot of inner essence gets revealed. And that essence, in its application, as we go through this spiritual path, makes Gita more relevant. Not only its relevance and its efficacy, um, but also you feel the impact of these words, and the teachings, and the power of, what can I say, the teachings in Gita. I think that is what I think most of you may also resonate with my idea, with my views here. But yeah, we will tend to hear that after this class. But that's what I'm finding as we are going through these, not just only a revision, but and then that is what is also one more thing. The Gita's essence, and as it is revealed by so many great scholars, teachers, and from the Bhashyam and other people, it is unfathomable. It's unfathomable. And also, as you know, different schools may have in its philosophical principles to end of the day to derive at their school of philosophy. The application is almost the same, and the end goal is almost is the same, which is moksha. And especially in these type of chapters, that is like chapter 6, it is very common. I mean, the commonality in this one is very, very true, because it is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. And and also it is, though in its, what can I say, the application also, it's almost remaining the same. So when we saw off to the oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong one. When we saw up to the last class, the 14th shloka, Matsam Stam Adhiga, when he said, Bhagavan said, Prashantatma Vigata Bihi. Yeah, this is what we finished up to shloka number 4. Manasamyamya Machittaha Yukta Asita Matparaha. You also remember in the uh, chapter number 2, Kimasit, when Arjuna asked, there a little bit more, because it is from a Sthita Prajna. That's what I just wanted to see, but here, it is in a initial stage. There it is a yoga arudaha. That's what I'm just coming back to the context of this. But when we take these shlokas like chapter 14, it can be applied to both yoga arudaha. Yoga arudaha, again, the yoga arudaha is okay. The three things we may also have to see, look at this context. Yoga arurukshu, which we know that one who is trying to get into this, in the karma yoga. So through karma yoga, you become a yoga arudaha. And then yoga arudaha also is not still a sthita prajnaha, because he is now into a monastic life where he is going to go. And sthita prajnaha is even one level up, because sthita prajnaha is almost like a jivan mukta. And for him also, Bhagavan said, Kimasita, that's what there also he said about thinking about Bhagavan. So what I was really trying to get into these things is whether we are a yoga arurukshu in the initial stage, or in the middle of the path, or then one who has ascended the karma yoga and ready for the atma jnanam yoga arudaha, or even a jivan muktaha. For all of them, that bhagavataha matparaha yuktaha asita is a commonality for all of them. So continuing from that. So that's what I'm saying. These things are all, you get much more, what can I say, the concepts glued together when we do these kind of a detailed studies, because we link with all of them. So then Bhagavan going from there beyond, and that particular, from him, and then how does his yogi proceed, contemplate more in this meditation? Bhagavan comes to the shloka number 15. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasah shantim nirvana paramam mat samstham adhigachati. So here Bhagavan says how this meditation gives a prolonged continuity in his daily walks of life. So the daily walks of life where the meditation helps him is what is truly a meditation that helps. That's what Bhagavan is very, very keen into doing that. And that's why I said, even the japa that if you remember the last class I did, that we do effectively, thinking about the Bhagavan gives you that same thing even through the whole day's walks of life. So Bhagavan says, Evam. So that's where I'm coming. Evam. Evam means thus having practiced that yoga as stated in the above. So Evam practiced that yoga, the yoga of meditation, of or contemplation, or a deep cognition of the principles, or even just in the Bhagavan's dhyanam, just in his Swarupa dhyanam, in his Kalyana Rupam. Even when he's seated thus like that, because in that state, once we are in that contemplative state, everything pralinaha, they all subsides into that one. Right? When that sublimes, when that essence goes into that ekaga jnanam, then there are no principles to apply. There are no, because everything is reduced to that one Atman. So Bhagavan is taking the thread of that ekagra chittam, which is through the Bhagavan, into, so that is what that evam is here. So that evam sada atmanam yunjan. Yunjan means it is a kind of a continuity. What do you call present continuous participle? Yunjan, continuously that yogam, in the yogic thoughts. How evam, similarly what he has. So it is not that, okay, I've done my meditation today, appa, it's all finished, let me go back to do whatever I have to do. That is also there, but then that thread continues. So that is why Bhagavan says evam sada, in always continuing from as much as he can. Sada atmanam. Again, atmanam again is having his mind in this atmanam, means that body, mind, and faculty. Atmanam. Because he is doing the atmanam uddharet. That atmanam he is now uplifting. How? Yunjan. Sada atmanam yunjan. That yunjan is what? Completely absorbed in the atman. Atmani. Sada atmanam atmani yunjan. Understand? So because that dedicated time in that meditation, he has completely sublimed, and that when it is being practiced, even with the japa or with that type of a meditation, it is the quality of the time in which he has done, and it may vary, but then sada atmani yunjan. That's what I'm just adding one word here. Sada atmanam atmani yunjan. That all the body, mind, and faculty is indriyam, is manas, buddhi, everything in that atmani chintam or bhagavataha chintam as well. Yunjan, completely absorbed. Yunjan. engine. And how does that, what can I say, that continuous prolongation happens? Because niyata manasaha. So that means that niyatam means fully restrained niyatam manasaha. That fully manasaha means in the mind, niyatam, fully restrained or fully absorbed that in his mind. The mind focus is always in the Atmani, Niyatam. Manasaha, Atmani, Niyatam becomes Niyata Manasaha. Fully restrain the mind in that Brahman alone. That gives me the ultimate moksha. That gives me the ultimate satisfaction. I know I am still interacting with the Vyavaharam today. I'm sitting in front of the computer, or I'm sitting going again. I'm driving somewhere. But then the concentration, everything is there in the outside world. But end of the day, when there is a complete, what can I say, happiness comes, that is inside. So that is why Niyata Manasaha, and he is a true yogi. This Atma Samyama yogi. Atma Samyama yogi. Then what happened? Matsam Stam. Matsam Stam. That Matsam Stam means steadfast in that supreme bliss, or steadfast in that supreme Rupam of Bhagavan, Ishvaraha. You all must have celebrated the Shivaratri. The whole Shivaratri, or even that one jamam, or that one jamam in 3 hours, if you have done that proper puja in that complete chintanam, the whole night, the next day, it keeps on, continues. So similar to that, Bhagavan says, when the manasaha praliyam means what? In the sublimation, when that is continuously taken slowly as it progress, it is in non-voluntary effort. It's not a voluntary effort. It's a involuntary progress. So matsam stham, that is Bhagavan mat paraha, when he said in that mat samstham, in his samsthanam, Nirvana Paramam. Nirvana Paramam means again that it is once absorbed, does not come back. It is not a, though for us from a relative mind it may appear, but internally, even without our control, Bhagavan draws you in there as well. Once we deposit this thus into that consciousness of Krishna, in the consciousness of Ishvara, Brahman, in that Atmani, then Nirvana Paramam, that it culminates in that liberative nature. Then the doubts gets depleting. Nirvana Paramam Shantim. Because of that, the peace, the quietness, that particular supreme bliss of the Bhagavan's abode inside us, adhigacchati. He very much thus obtains this true self. Adhigacchati. Shantim adhigacchati. So I'll give you some small examples which I have read from my Sringeri Jagadguru's experiences. So when I'm going back to our Jeshta Mahasannidhanam, we say in Sringeri, Abhinava Vidyatirtha Mahaswamiji, who was there up to 1989, the 35th Pithatishwara. So what he used to, when his initial days of going and meditating, he will go into top of one small hill in Sringeri, and he will come back, and he was telling his guru, oh, today the meditation of Paramashiva in that was so nice, and it was and that I experienced this, and he used to share with him. And then during that also, he will tell him, I believe, look, it is not only enough when you do that, and he will say, Atmam bodhes tarango samahamiti gamane. Gamane, even when you walk, what you must think of is Atma Ambodehe, that you are like a wave. Ambodehe, Tarangaha. Tarangama means like a wave. You are like a water in that waves. Aham iti gamane. So when you walk, you think you are like a water in the waves, which is going in that bigger ocean. You are just that water, not the wave. The mind, the thoughts could be the waves, but you are the water. Even when you walk, that is that matsamstam adhikam chati nirvana paramam shantim. And then he says, when you sit as if you are like a bead in that uh, great mala that it has been it's been strung together. Sambit sutrani vidhau manirahamiti vasmi. Like that jewel, like a money, that one pearl or one bead or one spatikam in that mala, that you are sitting in that bead, you do. And when you go and sleep, Shayana vidau magna ananda sindhau. When you sleep, you just think as if I am now immersed in the ocean of bliss. So when you are walking, you are the water in the waves that is moving. When you are sitting, you are like that bead which is there. And when you are sleeping, you are just completely immersed in the ocean of bliss, even when you sleep. And that kind of a bhavam is what Sada Atmanam Yunjan. So that is the depth into which these shlokas take you to. But this is all possible. Krishna is giving this because it's possible by the slow and steady practice. So that's what Bhagavan is saying in this shloka number 15. And going more into shloka number 16, Bhagavan says, for you to be always absorbed in this particular state, what are the some niyamanam? That the niyata manasaha, when we are saying how much of some certain things will help you so that this can be prolonged. Bhagavan says, natyashnatastu yogosti nachaikanta manasnataha nachati swaprashilasya jagrato naiva charjuna. So this can also be taken as a yama niyama asana in that one. This as a one niyamam. Niyama means some regulation. But this also can be taken as if we find that, oh, I'm not able to be sada atmanam. Yes, when I do the japa, when I do that sit for meditation, it is very good for me, but I'm not able to get a prolonged because there is so much of disturbance happens through the thing. Then Bhagavan gives you some tips. He says, yes, Arjuna, such a thing will happen because in our daily walks of life, we eat, we sleep, as I said, while eating and sleeping and walking. And in that, what Bhagavan says, have some moderation. Have a moderation. So he says, hey Arjuna, not ashnastu, it's na ati ashnasaha. Ati ashnasaha tu. So this, if I break it, na atyashnasaha. Sorry, atyashnataha. Atyashnataha is equal to ati ashnataha. Then tu is there. So ashna means eat. Ashnaha means eater. Ati ashnaha means overeater. Eating beyond what is required. So he says, hey Arjuna, atyasnataha, that who overeats indeed, too. Yes, verily, but yogaha, this karma yogaha, or this yogi that you want to be, like a niyatam yogi, yogaha, number 5, na asti. Yes, it doesn't happen all the time because of the overeating of food. So food is, when we overeat, that can be a impediment to the yogi who want to have the sada atmanam yunjan. That can be an obstacle. Or even to sit after. If he has eaten a lot in the previous night, up to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, up to here, malai kofta and everything, how can he sit in the morning, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in a meditation? Not possible. So That is one thing he says, even to before sitting or even after getting up from the meditation, these things is never going to be helpful. So he says, na asti ati ashnataha. And also, this chaikanta means ekantam anashnataha cha na asti. Ekantam anashnataha means what? Who has completely gotten rid of eating. Never mind, I have got such a vairagyam. I am not going to eat. Not for one day, at least one day if he remains, 2 days, 3 days. Oh, I will just remain with something, water, or sometime even I won't. I will rather do, but I will not eat. Biting his teeth and ekantam anasnataha. Asnataha means I told you eating. Na asnataha become anasnataha. Meaning to say, ekantam anasnataha cha na asti. So not eating at all as well, the yoga will not fructify. So there is in the Shankara Bhashyam, Shankara gives a beautiful Vedic sutra from the Veda, it comes. And where that Veda very clearly says, it is beneficial to one who eats the right quantity and quality to suit his system. Because the food eaten in taken the right quantity and quality becomes a medicine, and it is the one that it protects him. And this carrier of this particular equipments what Bhagavan has given, it is not ours to think I have full free will, but you have to take this engine, you have to take this chariot along, and you have to protect it. It is your duty to protect this. And the protection of that comes from eating the right amount, the right quality. So the food taken at the right time, with the right quantity, with the right quality, is a good protection for the yogi in this yogic path. And when that immediately exceeds that particular limit, becomes a poison, or it becomes a destructive for the yogi. And for that also, he gives one particular taken from the Yogic Sutra. So what he says is, Ardam Sabjaja Ardam Sabjanjana Nasya Trutiyam Udakasya cha Vayo Sacharar Tam Tu Chaturtam Avaseshayet. I will send this shloka to you. Very nice. You might have known, many of you. What it says is Ardam Sabyanjana Nasya. Ardam means you only eat to half stomach with water, with food and vegetables. Ardam, half is just the food. And then Tritiyam Udakasya cha. Tritiyam means the third, 1/3, or after half food, 1/4, that is the third quarter. Tritiyam here is third quarter. The third quarter should be water. And the rest of the other quarter, Vayoho, leave that empty space, Sancharanardham, for the digestion to happen. Chaturtham avaseshayet, Vayoho, for that empty space to go and digest. Vayoho chaturtham avaseshayet means leave that 1/4 balance for the Vayu to go, Sancharanardham, meaning to say go in the stomach and digest it. So this is what it is stipulated all the time. Half stomach, quarter water, quarter empty. So this again Bhagavan gives in the Shankara Bhashyam about this particular Natyashnatasti yogosti nachaikantam anashnataha. Then again, so two things, that is why food is called aushadam. It is taken aushadam if it is taken half stomach, or to what it suits one's stomach, for all those things that we have today, depending on the age and quality and everything, that what it is required. So that I have said you that it is a great protector. Then what he also says is, Number 11, cha, ati swapnashilasya. I like this one. Swapna means dream. Swapnashilaha means that he is dreaming a lot, means he is really uh, uh, sleeping, oversleeping. Swapnashilaha, swapnashila, both. That means, so, what do you call that? Sleeping princess. Swapna Sheila, you can keep the name, the sleeping beauty, yeah, sleeping princess, Swapna Sheila. That's it. So for Swapna Sheila or Swapna Sheila, yoga na asti. Yoga na asti. That sleeping before what is required, that also yoga na asti. And if that person is jagrataha, if he says, no, I won't even sleep, whatever that is required, and I will only remain awake all the time, jagrataha cha, uh, uh, jagrataha cha cha na eva. Jagratah cha na eva. So yoga na asti. This is where I recently listened to one great person you all may know, Narendra Modi. He was talking to somebody in the university. He was telling very confidently, all you students, it takes me only 30 seconds to go to sleep. He says 1, 2, 3, 30 seconds, because he says, when I am awake, I am fully awake. When I go to bed, I immediately go to bed. It takes me only 30 seconds at that age. He's now 72 or 73. And I was thinking, oh God, this person is a real good karma yogi. And he sleeps very less, I believe, which is all there. But, something like that, because we take the good from everybody as a practical example today. If that person can be there, why can't I be? So, it's a kind of balancing the right act of the sleep that is really required, because sleep is the one by which all the replenishment happens. So these are all things which it more than what I have to say. But Bhagavan says your every day you sleep and get up in the right amount is where your particular immunity, because again the sleeping at the right amount builds you the immunity. Sleeping less depletes the immunity. Sleeping more becomes a poison, tamasik. So that's again is something that we take from this Gita. And this Shloka 17 is the same thing one in a positive sense. Yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Again, yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So again, in this one, he is going in a positive sense. There, everything was, he says, does not happen if you do most of them. Here, only thing is in a positive sense, and the positive aspect of it is going as a yuktaha. Yuktaha means one who has got that complete balance. Complete balance with a complete understanding. That is why yoga yuktaha. These are all ahara yuktaha. Ahara yuktaha means he understands exactly how much is really required, because it varies from person to person. That means the body is capable of telling us, give us the symptoms after we have taken the food or when we have not taken the food, when we have not slept or when we have slept. Listen to the body. That's what Bhagavan says here. Listen to the body, respect the body, and go in stream with the body. And with whatever knowledge that you have applied, train the body, because we can't let them always go from what the body says. But sometimes you have to train the body. So that's what this yukta means. So yukta ahara. So one who is eating in moderation. Ahara. Viharasya. Viharasya means this is where when you are external activity. And this is beautiful. I was, and Shankara says, Padakramaha Viharasya. Padakramaha means walking. For a long time, I was entering in Sanskrit. Maybe some great scholars will know. Like, when we do for walking as an exercise, what would you say? Pada chalanam, pada. So here today, I found it from the Shankara Bhasham. He calls this pada kramaha. Ahara and pada kramaha should be in balance. That's how he balances it out. In those days. In these days, maybe you say gym, or you may say so many steps, 10,000 steps, 20,000. But Shankara spoke even those days. He says, Ahara padakramayoho yuktaha. Steps, padakramaha. He has revealed it so long back, Shankara. So he says, so vihara is equal to the steps. You can take it in these days. Ahara vihara, or external activity, like walking. So one who has balanced his kilocalories or kilojoules or his calories between the walking and the eating, that he has balanced it out. Yukta ahara viharasya. Then karmasu, in his physical activities, yukta cheshtasya. Cheshtasya, so in his action, yuktaha means one who does it with not with cheshtasya. Cheshta means actually equal to your exertion. Exertion, or your what can I say? Your external activity. It is really your external activity, but in moderation. I think that's why we came in the small. When you are young people in Tamil Nadu, they would say they romba cheta panadara. That comes from this word cheshtasya. Cheta means, say the child is jumping up the sofa, then climbing onto the window, pulling the curtain, swinging the curtain like a monkey. They say, hey, cheta panadara. Right? So these are all what the chestas you. So what Bhagavan says is here, yukta chestasya. In your activity, don't be gentle, be steady, but firm and definitive actions. Measured actions. Karmasu yukta, in measured in its actions. Controlled actions in measured actions. Also, the yoga is very beneficial. Okay, not being, and also that gives you some time in a kind of a, being in a rush all the time. We go up to the train is at 8th minute, that we finish up to last 5 minutes, then running around, then all those things. I don't have to tell you. So, yukta chestasya. Karmasu, karmasu yuktaha chestasya. Then yuktaha swapna avabodhasya. Same thing at the same. Yuktaha, moderate in the swapna, meaning to say sleep. Avabodhasya, meaning to say in the jagrata, or in the avastha when it is when he is being awake and in attentive mode to do things. Avabodhasya. Then for that such a person, yoga dukkha ha bhavati. Dukkha means any sorrow. Ha means removal of sorrow. Yoga dukkha ha bhavati. It will remove him of any difficulties, any displeasure, any kind of a difficulties, and any sorrow that he may, if he have to have anything in the part of sada yunjanevam, these ones will give him. So that's what he says. This is in a positive sense. Yoga dukkha bhavati, while done in this kind of a convicted, in a moderated activities. That's all the same meaning is. Okay, next one. Next one is, then when will this yogi with the niyamanam as a yogi, abhyasaha, becomes yoga arudaha? That Bhagavan says. When you as a yoga arudaha, when you know you're going to become the yoga arudaha, yada viniyatam chittam atman evavatishthate nisprihas sarvakamebhyah yukta yutyuchyate tada yada viniyatam chittam atman evavatishthate nisprihas sarvakamebhyah yukta yutyuchyate tada. So when will I know I'm completely a yuktaha? And that I'm almost a yoga arudaha. Yada. When so yava. Viniyatam chittam. Viniyatam means that chitta vritti. Viniyatam is equal to vritti. Vritti means the thoughts that comes out of your mind. The thought that effulges in different directions. The reaction that it gets from the external actions. Both. The thoughts which goes out from internal and the thoughts which takes from the external cognition to say, hey, I like this, I don't like this, or whatever it is, both are viniyatam, chittam. Chittam means here into that mind, chitta vritti. So the chitta vritti, the mind, all the vrittis, when they are made of any, devoid of any modification, viniyatam chittam, yada viniyatam chittam. That means this is now devoid. This chittam is the vritti is devoid of any modification, or when I say modification, it does not give him any ashanti, does not disturb him from the external world when he is going about. Yada chittam viniyatam, or yada viniyatam chittam. Viniyatam is an adjective to the chittam. You understand? Yada viniyatam chittam. Viniyatam chittam means which is devoid of any kind of a conflicts arising from the thoughts internally or externally. Conflict-free thoughts which is in resonance in your control and it is not controlling you. The thoughts are in your, thoughts are good. Thoughts are not bad. No one can be without the thoughts. But what Bhagavan says is, it's a viniyatam chittam. But they are in total resonance with your journey. That viniyatam chittam, then he says, Atmani eva tishtate, avatishtate. Because of that resonance, that synchronous, harmonious nature, the thoughts, Atmani eva, on the Supreme Self, that Paramatma conscious. Because now, Atmanam, that Atmanam is viniyatam chittam, Atmani eva avatishtate. The Supreme Bliss alone eva avatishtate, gets placed in its true location. Avatishtate. Matsamstam avachittate. Avatishtate. And because of that, tada, then that is the way that it is. Tada sarvakamebhyaha. Because when he is interacting with the external world, there will be of some kind of a reflections to either attract him or an attraction from internal or external. Nisprihaha. It does not even come and touch him. Does not even come and touch him one bit. Nisprihaha. He is not even in that any mood to even entertain any of them. So they automatically go away. He doesn't drive them away. They just fade away. Nisprihaha yuktaha. Yuktaha iti uchyate. Then he is called as a yuktaha. Iti uchyate. Then he is called as a yuktaha. Then he is called a yoga arudaha. He now becomes qualified for the ultimate nirvikalpa samadhi. So then Bhagavan goes even much more into that samadhi state now from here onwards. So when that person, in that sense, when that he now when he meditates, how does that happen? So yatha deepo nivatastaha negate sopama smrta yogino yata chittasya vinjato yogamatmanaha. Once more. Yatha deepo nivatastaha negate sopama smrta yogino yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmanaha. So from that 16th one, he was going, Bhagavan was giving all the external factors, how that consists him, so that he'll be again be Sada Yunjan. Sada Atmani Eva Yunjan. And that one, now when he comes back to do the meditation, we need to say, once that sleep and the food, everything have been so well moderated for him by himself, and that nothing in this world, when he is walking or moving or sleeping about, disturbs him or able to do any kind of an afflictions in his modification of vritti. And this person, when he sits in his meditation, how does the meditation then goes about? Bhagavan says, Arjuna, Nivatastaha. These are all adjective to that yogi who is meditating. Vata means normally air. Nivata staha means stay, for example, sthanam. Ni here means nigataha. Nigataha vataha asti sthanam nivatastaha. Sorry, I just said a bit in English, Sanskritam word. Ni means here is nigataha, means that which is gone. What? Vataha. There is no wind here. Shouldn't say air, but wind. There is no wind. Nivatastaha deepaha. So the deepa, that lamp, when that is in a place where there is no wind at all, how that jyoti will be very, 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 without any shaking, the jyoti will be very, very steady, like a cone, like a ekagram. Similarly, his chitta vritti also when he is doing, so nivatastaha deepaha yatha, how similarly nengate na ingate. Nengate is na ingate. Ingate means flicker, where the deepa doesn't flicker, where there is no wind. Similarly, his chitta vritti, when he is doing the dhyanam, will be steady in his between the eyebrows. And that is the state that he gets. It will never flicker. That no other disturbance of thoughts. Na ingate. Nengate is na ingate. Number 6. Atmanaha yogam. Atmanaha yogam yunjataha yoginaha yatachittasya sa upama smrita. Meaning to say upama. Let's come to this one. Upama means the simile, or that particular comparison. The comparison of that person's meditation is like a deepa or a jyoti, that deepa, jyoti, which does not get flickered without when there is no wind. Similarly, his meditation, Atmanaha yogaha, Atmani yogaha, Atmanaha yogam. Atmani yogam means that Paramatma dhyanam, the meditative mind. It could be a Savikalpa Samadhi or Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But that Atmanaha yogam yunjataha yoginaha. Yoginaha is a Shashti. Of that yogi, yunjataha. All these things are adjective. Atmanaha yogam yunjataha yoginaha. So that one meditator, one who is meditating upon that Parabrahman with a Savikara, that is with a Guna Rupam, with a Rupam or Arupam, Yunjataha Yoginaha Yatachittasya. Yatachittasya means that his chittam with which he is meditating, that meditation is being similarly sa upama smrita. That meditation similarity is thus being comprehended. Smrita. Upama smrita. That upama is thus being constructed or being remembered. Smrita normally means remembered, but he means constructed. So upama, that is how I can remember this state of mind when he is doing that meditation, is what Bhagavan says, that meditative mind. And this is This is really the dhyanam. Then that samadha, the ultimate state in the dhyanam. Tatra pratyaya ekatanata dhyanam is what the Patanjala Yoga Sutram, and even in Patanjala Yoga Sutram, similar statement comes, and that's what Bhagavan comes in this particular dhyanam. Still it is in this dhyanam. It's not gone to samadhi. But the dhyanam is ekagra dhyanam, not disturbing, not, it's a complete ekagra chitta dhyanam. Dhyanam. Ekagra chitta dhyanam. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyanam. Right? This is almost like dharana and dhyanam. And when that person, when he is thus doing the dharana, dharana means uphold, right? Here, the upholding of that particular meditation of that particular deepa like thing is automatic. Then, with that person, yatro paramatam chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyannatmani tushyati. Once more. Yatro paramate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. So now Bhagavan takes slowly him to preparing to taking into the samadhi from the dharana and dhyana state. So yatra, number one. Yatra mean what? Yasmin kale. Yasmin kale means what? In this special state of that meditation with the dharana and the dhyana kalam. Yatra. In that yasmin kale. Kale. Yoga sevaya. By that practice of that dhyana yogam. By that dhyana yogam. By the practice of dhyana yogam, chittam. What state of a chittam it is in that one? Niruddham chittam. Chittam means what? In that yatra, in the yasmin kale, in that dhyana yogam, by that dhyana yogam, the chittam is like a niruddham chittam. Niruddham chittam means it's a tranquil chittam. Mind with a cessation of any modification. There is no voluntary or involuntary or any of its one. And at that time, there is no cognition of time or anything. That is why it is niruddham chittam. It is a different from the nivatastha deepaha state. It is one more step next. The nivatastha state, yes, the deepa is there and it is almost, it's in the dharana state. Here, even it has gone more into the dhyana state. Because in the dhyana state, it is a niruddham chittam. Absolute tranquil. There is only one that he does not even know where the chittam is or the chittam. It's a complete niruddham chittam. Uparamate. Niruddham chittam. Uparamate. Ramate means itself that there is a kind of a I can't say enjoyment. Yes, there's a rejoice. There is a, it is an internal bliss. Because in the world, when we say enjoyment, it is always something from an object, objectified enjoyment. This is uparamate means, uparamate is that which is devoid, objectless enjoyment. Yes, objectless. That means it is a self bliss. Yasmin kale yoga sevaya viruddham chittam uparamate. The self bliss is revealed. He rejoices. And uparamate in and yatra. And in this state, In this, there, yatra means, yasmin kale, yatra here means in this state of his absolute deep meditation. Yatra cha atmana atmanam. So in this atmana means samadhi parishuddhena. Shankara says samadhi parishuddhena. That's how we know here atmana is in the samadhi state. So here it was dharana to dhyana, and almost here the dhyanam, and with the dhyanam here it is samadhi state. Samadhi parishuddhena atmanam pashyan. So atmana is equal to samadhi parishuddhena. So that's how we know in this yatra he has progressed to the samadhi state. And we can take it as a savikalpa samadhi, because Bhagavan is going to come in the later stage into a nirvikalpa samadhi. Atmanam atmanam pashyan. That atmanam here, this atmanam here is what? It is a Satchidananda Swarupam. Here, Pashyan is only a Alankara word, because that Paramatma Shuddha Chaitanyam you cannot see. So that is why he says, Kutra Pashyati Atmani Tushyati. Atmani eva Pashyan. By having seen here, it means what? It is a self-revealing. Atmanam, Atmana, Atmanam Pashyan, that self-refulging, that particular self-bliss, Pashyan, having realized, Atmani Tushyati. Atmani eva Tushyati. Here, eva karam here itself. Atmani eva Tushyati, in this uninterrupted supreme bliss. Here, Atmanam, the supreme bliss he sees. In the same Atmanam, this Atmani. In that same Atmanam, what he saw, in that alone, Atmani Tushyati, he rejoices. This Tushyati is even one more step than the Uparamate. And this is the absolute Nididhyasanam. And this line is where it is the Aparokshanam. Aparokshana Nididhyasanam. Because Atmana Atmanam Pashyan Atmani eva Tushyati. Nididhyasanam. And this is not a sense perception. That's why he said Pashyan is a Alankara word. Just for us to comprehend that idea, Bhagavan has said that. So I think with that, I will finish for today. And in the next class, we will go more deep into from shloka number 21 into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where Bhagavan will take us slowly into that one. And up to now, you can take it as he has taken into from a dharana, dhyana, samadhi. On the finishing order, shloka number 20. Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana Yogo Atava Atma Samyama Yogo Nama Shashtodhyayah Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Ata Gita Mahatmyam Dharo Vacha Bhagavan